In this video, we're going to introduce the idea of degrees, minutes, and seconds. So it looks like this. It's called degrees, minutes, seconds. And so you have a degree value, and instead of a decimal, it's called minutes and seconds. And that's kind of the symbols that we use for that. So in general, you have 1 degree has 60 minutes worth of time. So we use the symbol like that. And then 1 minute, each minute has 60 seconds. And so it's very much a time measurement, a time. The base on it is kind of based off of a time, but you're really connecting it to a degree. So here's the idea behind it. If you have, let's say 25.5 degrees, another way to write this 0.5 is that it's half of a degree, which makes it 25 degrees and then 30 minutes because it's half of an hour, basically. So 0.5 of an hour is 30 minutes. Okay, and so if you had like 10.25 degrees, that would be 10 degrees, and then 0.25 is a quarter of an hour, which is 15 minutes. So it just breaks things up into a little bit of a different thing. This is a base 10 on your decimals. This is a base 60. So you can be more precise with this because we haven't even gotten to a decimal yet. Because then from here, you would then have seconds, and then within the seconds, you can have decimals. So it's just a more precise kind of a thing. If you're talking about a precise location on the earth, you're talking longitudes and latitudes. It's very common to see degrees, minutes, and seconds associated to that. So let me do one last. If you have, let's say 12.4 degrees, I know what 0.5, I know what a half of an hour is. I know what a quarter of an hour is, but I don't know what 0.4 of an hour is. So really all I would be doing is taking 0.4 of an hour, which if I multiply that together, I get 24. So that means this 0.4 would be 12 degrees, and it would be 24 minutes. So that's kind of the idea between it. Okay, so we'll go forwards and backwards with this and kind of show the math. So remember that 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree, and then 1 second is 1/60th of a minute, which is then 1/60th of a degree. So then your seconds is 1/3600th of a degree. So if you go all the way to that, that's the level of accuracy that you're talking about before you even get into decimals. Okay, so how do you convert? You kind of work your way backwards. So if you have something that's in degrees, minutes, and seconds, so it's like taking this and going backwards into a degree measure or into a decimal. So you want to work backwards. You want to start with the smallest time increment, and it's 15 seconds is equal to seconds. 15 seconds is equal to 15/60ths of a minute. So you want to divide it by 60, and that's going to get you your decimal. So if I divide that, I got 15 divided by 60, which is going to give me 0.25. So 15 seconds is 0.25 of a minute. So what that means is now you're really sitting with 40.25 of a minute. Then you can take that and make that into a decimal of an hour or a decimal of a degree. I always think of things as time. So then that is the exact same math, is you're taking 40.25 out of 60, and that would make your degree. So you take 40.25, divide it by 60, and that gets you your answer. So we'll cut it off at 3 decimal places here. We'll make the 8 bump that up to a 1. So we're looking at 0.671. So our final measurement is 115 degrees. So it's 115.671 degrees. So that's how you would convert it. All right, there is a way to do this on your calculator as well, that your calculator has this section right here called angle, which is right above the X. That if you have this type of a calculator, a TI-84, if you want to have the calculator convert it, you're going to do 115, but you have to know how to put this into the calculator. So you need this to be degrees, and then you want minutes and then seconds. So we'll hit this angle button, and you'll see that there's your degree symbol. So there's your 115 degrees, and then you do 40, hit the angle button again, minutes, and then 15. Now there isn't a second symbol for that. It's actually on the keyboard. It's on your, it's right above the plus. So it's right there because it's context. So this can be used for programs, but it also will be used for seconds on what we're doing. So we got to hit the green and then seconds. All right. And then if we press enter, there's the whole thing. So there's that 8 that's bumping up the 0 to a 1. Okay. So that's how we can kind of work through it that way. So let's say we go the other direction. So this was taking these and dividing them by 60s because they were just parts of a whole. This was 15 out of 60, and then that turned into that decimal. And then you had 40.25 out of 60. And there's your thing. So now if you go this direction, where you have a decimal and you're trying to convert that into minutes and seconds, by hand is you starting to take this, and it's basically a fraction of an hour, or it's a decimal of an hour. So you'll take that 0.375 and multiply it by 60. All right, that's going to get you 22.5 minutes. All right, but you still have a decimal on this, so that's going to turn it into seconds because you have a fraction of a minute. So now you'll take that 0.5 and multiply it by 60. And that'll be half of 60 is 30. And that's seconds. Okay, so your final answer is 25. Oops, we're getting rid of the decimal. So it's 25 degrees, 22 seconds, or 22 minutes. And then that 0.5 turns into 30 seconds. Okay, so that's by hand. So rather than dividing by 60, you're multiplying by 60. To do the calculator, you are typing in the whole thing, 23.375. And there, if you go back into that angle, right there, you go second angle. This is a conversion. So anytime you see this on a calculator, on these calculators, that triangle represents it. It's going to convert it, and it's going to convert it into degrees, minutes, and seconds. So it'll do this math for you. Okay, so you're just telling it what it wants to do. And then there it is, 25 degrees, 22 minutes. So you want to go angle on your calculator, and then you want to use the triangle, degrees, minutes, seconds. And that gets you 25 degrees, 22 minutes, 30 seconds. Get you the same thing. All right, so that was a quick introduction to making your angles a little more accurate by making them degrees, minutes, and seconds.